What's up, everybody? The shift we see right now in the Vancouver presale condo market is nothing short of historic, and I don't say that lightly. I've been a real estate agent for 15 years, and I can say that I've never seen anything like what's happening right now. Every single week, everyday people, not hedge funds, not developers, regular buyers losing hundreds of thousands of dollars on brand new condos that they gambled on as presale units. These aren't even risky projects brought onto the market by a new developer. They're not sketchy buildings. These are brand new quality concrete towers built by reputable developers that have been around British Columbia for years. You've heard me talk before about other luxury presale market condos like buildings like the Butterfly, the Vancouver House, and the Curve, and those properties have been absolutely hammered. The market seems near dead for those kind of properties where we're seeing the appraisals come back $500,000 under the list price. Now, at the time, people are already losing serious money. We're talking six figures, sometimes more. Units were sitting and sellers were stuck. I remember thinking to myself, this is bad. Well, fast forward roughly 6 months and somehow things are even worse. You've probably seen the headlines. 2,000, 2,500, 3,000 empty condo units sitting unsold, but that doesn't even talk about the shadow inventory. Some people are speculating there's closer to 6,000 to 10,000 units unsold, empty, vacant. But here's the part that doesn't get nearly enough attention. It's not just luxury buyers anymore. It's not just downtown. It's regular people in regular buildings getting absolutely crushed. This video is inspired by another realtor I was talking to last week. They're currently on vacation sitting on a beautiful beach in Mexico. An appraisal on one of the properties her buyers had under contract came in $700,000 below asking price. And I've got buyers actively shopping in the brand new buildings, 2024 and 2025 completions, plus there's a ton more completions coming into the market this year. Normal 2-bedroom condos with standard layouts, no gold faucets, no marble waterfalls in the lobby. And what we're finding is absolutely shocking. Sellers aren't losing $50,000. They're not losing $100,000. They're losing sometimes $200,000 or $300,000 on standard condos. These are units people bought in the height of the market back in 2021 and 2022 when every single person out there thought the real estate prices would continue to climb, and the interest rates would stay dirt cheap for a very long time. So they waited, they budgeted, they planned, but they had to finally complete, and now they're watching their life savings evaporate. So a good question is, how the heck did we get there? It really comes down to timing, volume, and psychology. Interest rates were historically low, developers could borrow at a low cost, and buyers were extremely confident. But now buyer sentiment in the market is absolutely awful. I mean, it's getting a little bit better, but it's still pretty bad. And everybody assumed prices would just keep going up forever, but that's not sustainable. So anyways, the developers built and built and built some more. And at the same time, buyers were lining up outside sales centers, literally lining up like it was an iPhone launch back in 2010. I even lined up outside a presale center for a couple clients here down in Tawasin. We don't have a lot of new development going on, and it is a fantastic area, so I wasn't too surprised. But still, looking back, that was absolutely insane. Anybody that got into these presales literally just felt lucky to get a spot. I'll use an example. Pier West in New Westminster, built by Bosa, solid developer, really good reputation. The same people who waited in line just to buy one of these units are now losing hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's a brutal emotional shift. One day you felt like you won the lottery, but fast forward to today, you're down $300,000 and nobody's rushing to buy your unit no matter what you do. I mean, some people are having to cut their prices so far below what they expected that they're going to have to end up paying the bank money just to sell the units. That's a full 180 turn in reality. And Pure West isn't alone. We're seeing the same story in Metrotown, Brentwood, Coquitlam. And here's what's important. Those are not weak developers. We're talking Concord, Anthem, and Bosa. Big names, long track records. So let's break this all down. Why is this happening right now? Who's taking the biggest hit? And what does this mean going forward? First, timing. A massive number of towers all completed the exact same time. That means sellers just aren't competing with their neighbor. They're competing with the entire buildings and neighborhoods. Similar, if not the same floor plans, same views, same developer finishes. And here's another factor most people miss. developers held back inventory. This happens in every market, but this time it really backfired. Developers hold on to units because they'll sell a certain amount to hit their financing needs. If sales are going extremely well, they hold on to some of those units because they think they can sell them for a higher price point in the future once completed. The plan was simple: sell most units in a pre-sale, hold a few, resell them at higher at completion. But that didn't happen. Now those developers that held units are competing directly with desperate sellers. Add speculators into the mix, people who bought multiple units, and things got ugly fast. I've heard of some stories where people literally bought 5 or 6 units in the same condo complex out in Langley, and now they're down hundreds of thousands of dollars, probably $500,000 to be honest. Other people would team up with friends, families, start a small investor group. They would buy 5 to 10 units, and they are looking at 7-figure losses. And even if you're not selling, this affects everyone in the building. Values drop sale after sale as prices keep coming down, and that makes refinancing way harder to do because no appraisal is going to come in at the number that you want it to, and psychology shifts. Here's another critical point most headlines miss. A lot of these losses don't even show up on the MLS statistics. Why? Because pre-sales aren't recorded when they initially sell most of the time. So if somebody bought $1.5 million in pre-sale and resales today for $1.2, MLS shows that as the first sale most of the time. Some developers do post their sales on MLS, so it's not always guaranteed. But wow, like a $300,000 loss and completely invisible stats, which means the data actually underestimates how bad this really is. And if you think this is bad in standard buildings, luxury is on a whole nother level. I've seen downtown luxury units selling today around $1,300 to $1,400 per square foot. Just a few years ago, those same buildings sold for $2,500 to $3,000 a square foot. That's half the value gone. Here's the kicker. Current construction costs downtown are roughly $1,500 to $1,700 per square foot. You don't need to do the math to see that there's a problem. You can't build profitability at today's prices. So one of two things has to happen. Prices go up or construction costs come down. Until then, projects will get canceled, and that's exactly what we're seeing. Looking ahead, there's another wave of completions coming up in 2026 and early 2027. After that, the pipeline's going to get very quiet. High rates killed pre-sales, and you can't complete what you never started. Before things calm down, we're going to see some serious pain in the assignment market. I'm getting emails daily, people losing $100, $200, $300, sometimes even $500,000 on these units. Realtors are advertising them as selling at a loss, must sell immediately. Some are walking away from their deposits. Some are adding cash just to exit, but it's a nightmare out there. It's brutal. I just heard of an assignment at UBC with a $520,000 loss. And yes, you can probably negotiate even more. So that's a lot of negativity. Here's the good news. Once prices get low enough, buyers will start to show up in Brentwood, New Westminster, and Metrotown. Units are selling, not because the market is healthy, but because pricing is finally becoming a little bit more realistic. So should you buy one of these? That depends entirely on your situation, but I can tell you this. There are legitimately good opportunities right now in today's market if you're patient and strategic. Everybody needs to start thinking about real estate as at least a 10-year hold. If it makes sense for you to financially make the move into the market and you're currently renting, then have a 10-year game plan in hand. If not, if you're thinking 5 years, you're probably not in a position to be buying right now. With this, there's so much inventory on the market, so buyers have a lot of choice and a lot of negotiation power. If you're looking at similar condos for sale, if one seller doesn't want to work out a deal with you, there's another one down the hall that probably will. And this is the type of situation that buyers haven't had in a very long time. I'll keep tracking this super close as we move through 2026. If you want honest, data-driven updates like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If this helped you understand what's actually happening behind the headlines, give it a thumbs up. It really helps this channel. Appreciate you all so much. And if you're in Greater Vancouver and want real straightforward advice, my contact info is below. Thanks for watching. I'm Blake Chancey with Real. See you on the next one.